Welcome back. You're still watching Your Story on SA Today, and we begin now with a story from the U.S. U.S. Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that the impeachment of President Donald Trump has been a sad occasion on Capitol Hill. Trump has become the third president to be impeached in the history of the United States. He's charged with abuse of powers in his attempt to pressure Ukraine into investigating his political opponent, Joe Biden. He'll now be put on trial in the Senate, which is dominated by his Republican supporters. Well, for more on this, we're now joined by Ambassador Charles Stith, who is a former diplomat himself and understands all too well the kinds of politics that comes out of Washington, D.C. Ambassador, thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program. This impeachment of President Trump, we're trying to get a sense of just how big an issue, how big and how historic this is.
Well, anytime impeachment is on the table, it's a really big deal. As you are probably aware, there have only been 3 other presidents that have been impeached in the 260 plus years of the Republic. So it is unusual. It is always monumental. And as Speaker Pelosi said, it is a sad occasion.
All right, so it does seem, though, that this has taken very partisan lines. And I wonder, is that the sense on the ground that you're getting over there, that people who support President Trump don't want this impeachment to happen, and those that are perhaps Democrats want it to happen?
Well, unfortunately, what we're seeing play out in the vote does reflect the partisan divide which exists in the country right now. But having said that, as sad as this is, it was predictable. It seems as if it's been eons ago, but at the time President Trump was inaugurated, he was briefed about potential legal and political pitfalls that he needed to avoid, number one of which was the appointment of Michael Flynn as his national security advisor, which he needed to do, and subsequently the inquiries which have led to this day began.
So, talking about the way that this process has run, because the House of Congress is Democrat-led, I guess this first hurdle was always going to be crossed. And one gets a sense with the way that the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, is managing this, is that she wants the right message to reach the American public, making sure that there were no applause when the impeachment was read out, and trying to send a message out, I guess, to the public.
Yes, well, again, impeachment is not a legal or criminal proceeding in the technical sense. It's a political proceeding and a political process. And given that the center of it in this case is the President of the United States, who was duly elected by the American people, the Speaker rightly appreciates the need to protect that will bring the American people along during this process.
I'm just wondering, you were a diplomat, you were an ambassador stationed here in Africa. How difficult might it be for the image of America and the U.S. Beyond its shores, watching this process unfold?
Well, I was in Tanzania as President Clinton's envoy to that country as we were going through the Clinton impeachment. And one of the things that was clear is that the world was watching Tanzanians were interested. And subsequently, with the election, the contested election of George W. Bush over Al Gore, the Tanzanians were watching. Ironically, given the extent to which the process seemed botched and was challenging, you would think that it would be a disincentive in terms of conversations about democratization, but quite frankly, we experienced the exact opposite. Some of the most substantive conversations we had about democracy occurred after the Gore-Bush debacle. And one of the points that the Tanzanians situated again and again was that if a mature democracy like ours could be challenged, then young democracy had to be even more vigilant. The world is watching this process play out around President Trump's impeachment. And I think how we come through it will determine the impact it has on fledgling democracy, the impact that it will have on those people who want democracy where there's totalitarianism. Depending upon how we come through this, there will be a profound opportunity to punctuate that democracy is worth fighting for. So I'm hoping that the Senate will, try to see this through something other than partisan lenses, and that we comport ourselves and acquit ourselves well during this process.
All right, Ambassador Stith, we're going to have to leave it there. But thank you very much indeed for joining us and sharing your thoughts and experience on these issues with us. That's Ambassador Stith speaking to us all the way from the US about the impeachment process that's underway and has gone through the first hurdle, which is in the House of Representatives. Next stop will be the Senate and a trial.